Today we're going to be making these little bear plant holders. They hold about a 2 to 4 inch potted plant. To make this bear planter, we will need a few items. We're going to use a brown, about 84 yard, about 2 yards of a pink, and just a little bit less than a yard of the black. We'll also use a safety nose, some safety eyes, about 16 to 20 millimeters in size. We'll need a stitch marker, a tapestry needle, some fluff, and a small cup to hold a 2 to 4 inch potted plant. It measures about 9 in diameter on the top, 7 in diameter on the bottom, and it's about 6 centimeters tall. I use yogurt cups because they are accessible and they work well to hold a 2 to 4 inch potted plant. We'll also need our scissors and an H hook for the majority of it, 5 millimeter hook. And then for the inner ear part, we're going to use a G hook, which is a 4 millimeter hook. And then we will need a plant that is in a pot that is 2 to 4 inches, so it fits inside our yogurt cup. We're going to start with our brown yarn and our H 5 millimeter hook. We're going to do a magic circle or magic ring. And if you need help with the magic ring, there's another tutorial video that will be linked in the comments. For our round 1, inside this magic ring, we're going to single crochet 7. We'll pull our magic ring tight, and for our round 2, we're going to increase in every stitch, so 2 single crochets in every stitch around, and we will have 14 single crochets at the end of round 2. We are going to place our stitch marker in the last stitch of the round to keep track of which round we are on. For round 3, we're going to single crochet and increase. So 1 single crochet in that next stitch, 2 single crochets in the following stitch, and we're going to do that all the way around. So by the end of our round 3, we will have 21 single crochets. Round 4, we're going to be increasing again. So we're going to start off with 2 single crochets, followed by our increase stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around. So by the end of round 4, we will have 28 single crochets. Round 5, we're going to single crochet all the way around for 28 stitches. Round 6, we're going to be working back loops only. So we have our front loop and our back loop. And so back loops only, and we're going to half double crochet for this round. So round 6, we're going to do 28 half double crochets. At this point, finishing our round 6, we want to take our cup and check it. Our bottom should fit snugly over the base of our cup, and round 6 should start to go up the sides of the cup. Round 7, we're going to be increasing with single crochets once again. And we're going to do 3 single crochets followed by our increase stitch. So 3 single crochets, 2 single crochets in that next stitch. At the end of our round 7, we will have 35 single crochets. For our rounds 8 through 13, we're going to single crochet around. So So 35 single crochets for each rounds 8 through 13. Round 14, we're gonna do half double crochets again. And we're gonna do 35 half double crochets all the way around. When we make it back to our starting stitch, we're going to slip stitch in that first half double crochet of round 14, and we're going to pull that slip stitch tight so it doesn't look like a stitch. And for round 15, we're going to chain one and we're going to turn. And then on round 15, we're going to be working in the back loops only. So front loops are the ones closest to you, back loops are the ones furthest from you. And we're going to single crochet 35 in the back loops only. Finishing up our round 15, we're once again going to place our stitch marker in the last stitch of our round. Round 16, we're going to start with a double crochet, and then we're going to continue around doing linked double crochets. And at the end of round 16, we will have 35 stitches. There will be a tutorial video linked in the comments on how to do a linked double crochet if you are unfamiliar with them. For our round 17, we're going to be increasing to 40 stitches. So we will do 6 single crochets followed by an increase, and we'll do that 5 times around. Round 18, we're going to increase again. This time we're going to do 7 single crochets followed by your increase 5 times around to give us 45 single crochets. Round 19, we're going to increase once again, doing 8 single crochets followed by our increase. So you'll have 50 single crochets for round 19. For rounds 20 through 25, we're going to be doing 50 single crochets around. So 50 single crochets around for the next 5 rows. Finishing up row 25 with our 50 stitches. And row 20 to 25 is 6 rounds, not 5 rounds. So we've just done 6 rounds of 50 stitches, which brings us to round 26. And we're now going to be decreasing our stitches. So for this first one, we're going to do 8 single crochets followed by a decreased stitch. And we're going to do that 5 times around. Round 27, we're going to again decrease by 5 stitches. So we're going to single crochet 7 followed by our decreased stitch 5 times around. Round 28, we're going to be decreasing by another 5 stitches. So we're going to single crochet 6 followed by our decreased stitch. And we're going to do the 6 single crochets and a decrease 5 times around, which will give us 35 stitches at the end of our round 29. For our round 29, we're going to be decreasing by 7 stitches. So we're going to single crochet 3 followed by a decreased stitch, and we're going to do that 7 times around. And at the end of our round 29, we will have 28 stitches. For round 30, we're going to single crochet around, and at the end of round 30, we will have 28 single crochets, which will match our round 5, so we can connect our row 30 to our round 5. Before we move on to connecting our 2 rounds together, we're going to find our round 19 and 20. So for our safety eyes, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and we're going to place our eyes between round 19 and 20. And we're going to place them approximately 4 to 5 stitches apart. And then before we stuff our bear, we're going to place our cup inside so we don't overstuff him. And we're just going to take our stuffing and stick it between our 2 layers. And you can stuff to your desired firmness. So on round 5, we worked the back loops only, so we still have our front loops left. And we're going to connect our back loops of round 30 to the front loops of round 5. And we're going to do that by just slip stitching around. So back loop of round 30 to front loop of round 5, and slip stitch all the way around. Once you have slip stitched all the way around, it'll close that hole, and it gives you the base or the head to the teddy bear planter. For the nose, we're going to start with our magic ring. And inside the magic ring, we're going to single crochet 5. For our round 2, we're going to increase all the way around, so we'll have 10 single crochets for round 2. For round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet followed by an increase. We're going to do that 5 times. So we'll have 15 stitches for round 3. For rounds 4, 5, and 6, we're going to do 15 single crochets around. So we'll have 15 single crochets for the next 3 rows. At the end of round 6, we're going to slip stitch to join, and we're going to leave ourselves a long tail so we can attach the nose to the face. And then between rounds 1 and 2, we're going to take our safety nose and place it so the post sits between round 2 and 3, and the bottom of the nose sits between rounds 1 and 2. We're then going to take our tapestry needle and a little bit of our black yarn to make the mouth on the nose. So we're going to go right at the point of our nose. And we'll go down across the second round, and then both sides of the first round and the second round. And then to create our smile, we're going to be going between rounds 2 and 3. about halfway up the round to the nose, and again on the other side, halfway to the nose between rounds 2 and 3. And that will give us the mouth on our bear. We'll then sew our nose between rounds 20 and 26 between the 2 eyes. Then we're gonna weave the tail in, and that will give us the nose to our bear. There are 2 options for the ear. There's one where you make the outer ear and the inner ear separate and sew them together. And then there's one with the inner ear, and then you just continue around the inner ear to make the outer ear. And we're going to go over this option 2 for the ear. Both options are in the blog post, so you can see the link in the captions to get to both of the options. But we're going to go with the alternate ear option today, and we're going to start with making our magic ring. And we're going to chain 1 more, so we'll have a chain 2. We're going to do 3 double crochets, 2 single crochets, and then the peacock stitch, which is the chain 3, and then you slip stitch back into that first chain. 2 more single crochets, 3 double crochets, then we'll pull our magic ring tight, and we're just going to slip stitch between that last and the first double crochet. We're then going to color change to the base color. I'm going to chain 2. We're going to double crochet into that slip stitch that we made. We're going to single crochet into the first double crochet of that round 1. And then in that second double crochet, we're going to single crochet 3, so an increase of 3. Then we'll single crochet 2 more times, followed by 2 double crochets, and then in that peacock stitch we're also going to do a double crochet. To get to the other side of our inner ear, we're going to chain 1, we're going to slip stitch into the base of our double crochet we just made. We're going to slip stitch into the point of that peacock stitch, and then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to double crochet 3 times, single crochet twice. I'm going to do 3 single crochets into that next stitch, so an increase of 3. And then another single crochet, and that brings us back to our beginning, where we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet and pull that tight. So that gives us the front of our ear. Round 3, we're going to work back loops only, And we're just gonna single crochet 24 stitches all the way around the ear. We're gonna end round 3 by slip stitching to join. In round 4, we're gonna chain 1, and we're gonna single crochet 24 around again. And again, we're gonna slip stitch to join our round. Round 5, we're gonna be decreasing, so we're gonna chain 1, and then we're gonna single crochet 2 together for our decrease, and then 1 single crochet, decrease, single crochet, for a total of 8 times. So we'll have 16 stitches. After we have joined round 5, we're gonna decrease all the way around, so decrease 8 times for round 6, which will leave us a total of 8 stitches. We're going to join our round 6, and then we're going to leave ourselves a long tail for closing up the back of the hole on the ear, as well as sewing the ear to the head. So to close up the hole on the back of the ear, we're going to take our tapestry needle. We're going to weave around through the front loops of our last round that we've made. Once we weave through all of them, we're just going to pull our tapestry needle tight so that hole is closed, and then we will tie and weave our tail back to the bottom corner of our ear, so we are ready to sew on our ear to our bear. And then we will make a second ear to match this one. So again, we start out with our pink, make our magic ring, and when we're making our magic ring, we're going to do an extra chain. So we have a chain 2, 3 double crochets, 2 double crochet, peacock stitch, 2 double crochet, or 2 single crochet, 3 double crochet, and then after we pull our magic ring tight, we're going to slip stitch in the middle before we change our color. So color changing, we're just going to loop through and then pull our previous color tight. So loop the brown through, pull the pink tight, and then we're going to chain 2, double crochet into the center of that magic ring or through that slip stitch, single crochet, an increase of 3 in that next stitch, single crochet 2, double crochet 3 down to the point of the heart. Gonna chain 1, slip stitch into the bottom part of that double crochet, and then slip stitch into the point, chain 2, and then we're just gonna double crochet 3 back up, followed by our 2 single crochets, our increase of 3, and then 1 last single crochet before we slip stitch to join into that double crochet. And then the next 2 rounds are back loop only of 24, and our last 2 rows of decreases until we are able to pull the hole shut so we can close up the back of the ear, and leaving yourself a long tail in order to sew the ear onto the head. And then we're going to sew the ears onto the head, and you can decide if you want them to be a little bit straighter, a little bit curved. in general, your inner ear is going to go above your eyeball. And this one is attached about row 16. And I tend to put mine at a slight angle so it'll go across row 16 and 17. And however you sew them on is great. Tend to do a whip stitch when sewing on the ears. And then when that ear is all sewn on, I will cut, tie, weave in the end, and then move on to the next ear. We have both the ears, and the last step for our planter is to place a plant inside.